Hi, welcome to Start BSS Tutorials. In this tutorial, we'll show you how to work with proforma invoices. Start BSS offers two kinds of invoices, standard and proforma invoices. Let's have a quick guide on how to create a proforma invoice and its corresponding tax document and final invoice. Here's our case study customer. As you can see, he hasn't been issued a proforma invoice. Let's create one. Looking at the invoice header details, by default, the system generates standard invoices. To change one to a proforma, you just need to change the invoice type to proforma invoice. We'll fill in the rest of the details and save the changes. You can see that the invoice has been changed to a proforma invoice. The proforma invoice can now be closed and sent to the customer. It's possible to check the final PDF before sending it. The header identifies the invoice as proforma. Send the invoice to the customer. Once you receive payment for the proforma invoice, find the invoice and pay it off. The system supports both manual and automatic payment registration based on your bank email notification. In the case of automatic payment registration, paying off the invoice will be done automatically. Looking at this example, you can see that payment details are already pre-filled and all you need to do is confirm this dialog. After confirmation, you have an option to issue either a tax document or a final invoice for this proforma invoice. Let's create a tax invoice document. For the tax document, add the document number and review the invoicing dates. Then, review the entire tax invoice document. Check that the PDF version is okay and send it to your customer. The tax document is now officially forwarded to your customer, and if you need to make any changes, you'll have to do it through corrective document. Your tax invoice document and the proforma invoice are now in the customer invoice list. To create the final invoice for your proforma invoice, open the proforma invoice and click on the Create Final Invoice button. Insert the final invoice number and review the invoice details. Create the invoice. You can add invoice items or a proforma invoice into this final invoice. Let's close the final invoice. Check that all the information is correct and then send it to your customer.